Well, happy Tifferific Monday to you. Welcome, welcome, welcome. This journal right here is a journal that I made in my class, Scrappy Soul Book. You can follow the link down below if you'd like to know more about that class. But I love the size of this journal. I just like, and I work in mini journals. Um, and I think it's just mainly because I get tired of one and want to move on to another, or I like a size versus another size. So I don't know if you guys use multiple journals at once, but if you do, leave me a comment and tell me how many journals you are using at once. And I don't know if you guys recall the love letters between Espy and George that I bought some time ago on eBay. But this is one fresh out of the envelope here, and I was feeling very neutral. So if you caught my live on Sunday, if not, you can go back and watch. I talked about that some days I just wake up with a feeling of color. And today I was feeling a very neutral color, and so I'm going to lean into that with some of these vintage beautiful papers that I have in my stash. And instead of waiting to use those for the perfect page, why not go ahead and just use them, because today just as good as any other day to use up the stuff that you love so much. So I am collaging down with fluid matte medium. And I'm going over the top of them because y'all know how I roll up in here. So if this is your first time joining my channel, I never know what is going to happen. And yeah, I just fly by the seat of my pants because that's how I roll. And so I just come to my journal. And to be quite honest with you guys, I was not feeling very inspired today. But I showed up anyway. And I showed up and knew that if I would just give myself the opportunity to really play and have a good time, that it would be well worth it. Now I am mixing it up and going with a little thicker glue with gel matte medium. Well, because it was nice and handy right here on my table, and I felt like because this envelope was a little more sturdy that it may need a little more substantial. Then I also have these vintage composition notebooks, and I'm going to use, I wanted kind of like a plain minimal pattern paper in some of the areas. Still have zero idea where it's going. I'm just leaning into it and enjoying the idea of just a hodgepodge mix match of papers. So it's a great way to also clean up your workspace if you're like me and very, very messy and like to tear up lots of different photos. Then this could be a great opportunity just to collage it all down. So with that being said, I'm really liking this neutral place, and the video on Sunday live that I did actually showed some of the tissue paper that's right up there in the corner that has that white kind of inky circle. I made that on Sunday's live, and then I'm going to use another piece of that tissue paper that I did with some script here in just a few seconds. So you can go back and you can watch that video if you like, just to yeah, kind of see how to write some love letters to yourself. We've got George and Espy's beautiful love letter there. And then I think it's important for us to remember to love ourselves and honor ourselves. So that is what I talk about on Sunday's live. So yeah, what y'all been doing? Y'all been doing all right? Good, good. How you mom and them doing? That's what we say in the South whenever you ask somebody how you doing. We do that a lot. We ask people how they are doing, like, a lot. Well, how you doing? I'm good, sugar. How you doing? Oh, anyway, y'all probably didn't show up to listen to me rattle off about crazy things and have conversations with myself. So, y'all know how I feel. Y'all know how I feel about adding fabrics. I just love collaging with fabrics a lot of times. And so this is one that was either a clean off rag or maybe it was, I don't know. I don't know exactly where it was, but it was in my stash, so I'm using it today. And I'm just gluing that down with gel medium. And then this script here that says hard, that was one of my tissue papers that I made in that live video. And then I'm going in here and I was going to glue down another piece of fabric, but I thought, hey Tiff, pump the brakes, you're getting a little carried away. We do need to use or pick out that focal, and I already had this clothesline image out of Click magazine, and as you saw, I literally just crinkled it all up because if you're new here, Tiff loves the grunge, baby. Yes, I do. And I'm using my metal ruler just to be able to tear around that image for multiple reasons. I like the torn edge versus a cut edge. And so I already knew that I really liked how that dark moodiness was. And if you see my collage work, you know that I have this fondness for for tearing images apart and then putting them back together. I don't know. I think it just creates a little bit something unique and different and makes the viewer like lean into it like, what is this all about right here? And I also love that mustard yellow shirt that was laying on the clothesline in between these two buildings. And I'm just using my scraper to make sure that it is good and scraped down. And yeah, that's what I'm going to do with that. And now I'm going to come in here with a little more gesso and just kind of smudging the areas that I feel like made it look as if though that image was glued down directly onto the page, which we know it was, but I don't necessarily want that to be like, ooh, I just stuck this thing down. You know what I mean? So here is my Lyra Graphite water soluble pencil that I have taped to one of my tomato stakes from my garden. And so when I was taking my tomatoes out, because now I've got my fall garden in there, girl, we got some collard greens, we got some turnips out there, we got some lettuce, Brussels sprouts, all the things. So I decided to use that little bamboo thing as like something to extend my brushes and my markers and my Lyra Graphite so it is less in control. And so that's what that whole stick that had it all taped down there was all about. And then I'm just going in here with, actually, to be honest with you, that black was like a little bit of leftover of some India ink that I used in those collage images from the video before. So it was all nice and soppy and wet, so I just went ahead and slapped it on there, bringing the darks from the right into the lighter areas on the left, just so it wasn't such a huge stark contrast, because that's not necessarily what I was going for today. And then I'll tell you, I kind of sat with the piece for a while, and I decided that pretty much how you see it is how it was meant to be, and there weren't really any words that were needed for this spread today. Now, that doesn't mean that later on I may not decide that I want to add some journaling or add some words that kind of resonate with me at that moment. But at this moment, I'm pretty much happy with the way it is. Now, I am going to go in with this little sandpaper thingy-ma-do, and I'm going to, that's very technical. If you Google that, there's no telling what you may come up with, so I don't advise it. But it is just kind of pulling up some of that magazine image and scratching into it. And I, of course, am letting it peel and do what the heck it wants to do, because that's the areas that I really like the most, is when I just kind of give up all constraint. So I hope that you are having a beautiful and splendid Monday. I hope that you will click the subscribe button. And don't forget to tell me in the comments below, how many journals are you working in at one time? And I am going to try a little dibble dabble of this, and then I'm going to decide that the piece was finished, and I'm going to just say okay with it. So I hope you have a beautiful week. Thank you so much for stopping by, and until next time, let's all say it together, guys. Toodaloo!